The Tao of Self-Confidence, episode 268. Welcome to the Tao of Self-Confidence, where I share stories of amazing women who have discovered their inner journey to self-confidence. Visit our website at thetaoofselfconfidence.com. Your inner journey to self-confidence awaits. Well, hello friend. Welcome to the Tao of Self-Confidence, where I share stories of amazing women who have discovered their inner journey to self-confidence. I'm your host today, Sheena Yap Chan, and today's guest, I have a phenomenal woman on the show today. She's an actress, and I'm just really excited to have her on so she can share her story and tips on self-confidence. And without further ado, I'm going to introduce you to Victoria Park. Victoria, how are you today? Maybe you can fill in a little bit more about yourself to our listeners.
Sure. Hi, Sheena. Thank you so much for having me. I am an actress, like you said, occasional blogger. I say occasional because I'm not very regimented with it. I'm originally from Chicago, which I'm very proud of, but I now live in LA. And the show I'm currently working on is a new show called Sweet Vicious, and it's going to be coming to MTV in November, so you can watch me on that.
Awesome. Well, thanks for sharing that. And Victoria, what's your cultural background?
I am second generation Korean American. My parents were born in Korea. They immigrated over to the States when they were really young. They met and married in the United States, which I guess makes me kind of 2.5 generation. I grew up in the Midwest, so culturally I was raised pretty white, I guess. You can put that in quotes. But I definitely came to appreciate my Korean side, my Asian side as I got older, and definitely after I moved to LA and started making more friends of like Korean, Chinese, Japanese background.
Awesome. Well, thanks for sharing that. And Victoria, what would be your favorite self-confidence quote?
I have always loved this quote by Dr. Seuss ever since I was little, and I still think it's one of my favorites. And it's, "Be who you are and say what you feel, because those who mind don't matter, and those who matter don't mind." I just love that quote. I think it's so cute and succinct and true. Like the people who are going to matter in your life aren't going to mind if you are being yourself.
I love it. And it's one of my favorite quotes as well, especially living, growing up Asian. It's like we are always so worried about what other people think of us, not realizing that they're not even thinking about us half the time. So we might as well do what we love to do, go out there and be our authentic self. So great quote that you mentioned. And in your own words, how would you define self-confidence?
Yeah. I mean, first of all, I don't want to say I'm like this super confident person and I have like the secret to self-confidence all figured out, because I definitely feel like I'm still trying to figure it out. But what I have figured out so far is that I think self-confidence comes out of like respect for yourself. And I think self-respect comes from being kind to yourself. There's this great quote by Buddha that says, "If your compassion does not include yourself, it's incomplete." And I heard that recently and I just loved it. I don't feel like we can really love others well without first knowing how to love and respect ourselves, strengths and flaws and everything. And I don't feel like I was really ever able to be confident in myself without first learning to accept myself and getting to know myself for everything that I am, the good stuff and the bad. And once I could do that, once I knew who I was and accepted myself for who I was, I think confidence really came out of that. And once you are able to accept those growths and mistakes and changes that you go through, I think that that's really freeing,
I totally agree with you. And, everything that, happens in our life, we have to realize it has to start with us, right? Taking action in whatever it is we want to do with it. Whether it's getting more confidence, getting better, doing what we love to do, loving
Definitely.
ourselves. It really has to start with us and the belief that we can do it.
For sure.
And once we have that belief, that's when I believe the true magic happens. So it's a great journey out there, and we all, I think everyone's still trying to figure out self-confidence. I know I am half the time.
Yeah.
It's funny. It's like I have a show about self-confidence, but, I'm still trying to figure it out too. I mean, and it's fine. It's okay, and that's what it's all about.
Definitely.
So great definition. And what was your life like before your discovery of self-confidence?
That's a great question. I was kind of a funny little kid. Like, I always grew up more focused on others than on myself. My mom always tells the story about how, like, when I was little, I would just stand on the edge of the room and stare at everybody because I was just like observing everybody. And I think there's obvious positives to that. I think it made me more empathetic and more like aware of what other people are feeling and thinking. But, the negatives are that it made me very self-conscious and insecure about what other people thought of me. You know, I was really shy, and I changed schools a lot, and I think it was really paralyzing, you know, to be that insecure and just wanting to fit in and not really knowing how. And I think until I really came to accept myself, it happened, I guess, somewhere, I mean, it's a journey, but somewhere around high school, you know, like I became a Christian and like was able to find my identity in my faith. And that was always, I think, like a really grounding thing for me. And before then, I think I was, like I said, really insecure, and I was really unhappy. And I think I realized that living your life to make everyone else happy is not really a good way to live, you know? And in the end, it makes everyone unhappy.
Thanks for sharing that. You know, I totally agree, right? When you go out there and your parents or the people who tell you what to do and how you're supposed to live your life, it's not freeing. You're kind of like trapped in this box, like you can't even get out of. And, you know, you start to doubt yourself. You think, you know, you're not good enough to go out there and live your own life. And a lot of people deal with this and feel like they're the only ones who are dealing with it, not knowing there's, you know, a lot of us actually deal with this problem. And, you know, when we know we're aware of it, we can find ways and start solutions on how can we live better, how can we go out of the box, how can we, you know, do amazing things out there. And, you know, like you said, when you stop caring about what other people thought, that's when you were able to be who you are today. And, you know, because of that, what's your life been like now?
Like we've been saying, it's definitely a journey, you know, still discovering it more every day. But I can say for sure that I'm a lot more at peace. I don't have as much anxiety, you know. I feel like I can go about my day and my job and like where I feel like I'm placed in this world a lot better, and I can love people better because I am able to love and respect myself, you know.
You know, I totally agree with you on that, just because, you know, when you are more at peace with yourself, it's like you have less to worry about. You know that everything will be okay, and you have, you know, you believe in yourself enough that you're just going to figure it out no matter what's going to happen.
Yep.
So, yeah. You know, it's the greatest thing in the world. And Victoria, if our listeners were tuning into your episode, you know, they may be in a similar journey to self-confidence, what would be that one tip you would give to them?
I think I would say, remember that it's a journey. We've been saying that a lot. I don't know if there's ever a day that you just magically have it all figured out and you never have to deal with insecurity again. You know, I'm only 28, so maybe when I'm like 50 or 80, I'll be like, no, I figured it out, but I definitely haven't figured it out yet. And I think that that's okay. You know, that ability to give grace to yourself when you make mistakes, to, you know, love yourself for who you are and laugh at yourself when you fall down. I think that's really important. And I think, you know, I'm sure like all of your listeners are strong, sensitive, amazing women. And I think as strong women, we're really good at like loving our friends really well. We give our friends really good advice, but I think we're not so good at taking our own advice, you know? So I would just say take that advice that you give to your friends with such love and turn it back around on yourself. You know, do you think that you are smart and kind and beautiful and amazing and strong and all the things that we tell our friends? Because you are. And once you can start to really believe that, I think you'll be more free to go back out and love other people and live your life better. I have one more quote for you. It's be kind, for everyone you meet is fighting a hard battle. And I think I would just take that one step further and extend that to yourself. You know, be kind to yourself, because I think not only confidence, but a lot of good can come out of that.
Thanks for sharing all these tips, Victoria. And, you know, I believe that last tip you said, which is to be kind to yourself. You know, we're so great at self-sabotaging and punishing ourselves for these small little mistakes that don't even, like, matter. But just, in our heads, it's like this story we tell ourselves, and it's like this huge thing. And, you know, I've been guilty of it as well. It's like, I have to stop and think like, whoa. It's not as big as we always seem. And, you know, it's okay if we make mistakes. I mean,
definitely.
It's a part of life. So thanks for these amazing tips that you mentioned. And if our listeners wanted to get to know a little bit more about you and what you do, is there any links or social media profiles we can connect with?
Yeah, I'm on every social media profile. I have to be, you know, in this day and age. And my handle is Hey, like HEY, Hey, BVP. Also, you can find me on IMDb or at my blog, which is littlebigcity.com.
Awesome. Well, thanks for sharing that. And to our listeners, if you want to connect with Victoria, you can also head on over to the taoofselfconfidence.com. and search for Victoria's name. Her show notes will pop up along with everything else we talked about. And I just want to thank Victoria for taking the time to share her story and tips with us on self-confidence. So thank you so much.
Thank you. It's been fun.
Not a problem. It was great having you on the show. And to our listeners, be on the lookout for another new episode of another amazing woman's journey to self-confidence. And we'll catch you later. Bye for now.
Bye.
Thank you for tuning in to another amazing episode of The Tao of Self-Confidence. Get your free audiobook by visiting our website at thetaoofselfconfidence.com. Your inner journey to self-confidence awaits.